Today I'm going to be recommending fantasy series to you based on your tastes. So, the first thing is, I wouldn't say it's a heavy hitter. It's going to hit hard if you like action and violence and rage. If that's what you want in a fantasy series, definitely go with Rage of Dragons. It's 100% full speed at all times. It's a great, awesome book. It does not do it too much where I don't feel like I get to know the character, because I get to know the character well through a certain loss he has, which drives a lot of this plot. And I loved how everything about this book. I loved it. It was my favorite book so far this year, and the culture in this is quite amazing. You can see a lot of the African culture in this. It's really he's super mad the whole time, and if you love rage and being mad, you're gonna love this. There's a lot of training scenes. I think it would work well as an anime. I don't know, but this is a great book, and I definitely think if you're on for action and power and fight, you would like this a lot. Next thing I would recommend is a very I don't know how to describe it, a very action-packed. Not action-packed, yeah, but a very beginner book. If you're not experienced in fantasy whatsoever, start here. This is the one I recommend too. This has been my go-to recommendation recently, because it's just so accessible. Everyone can access this book series, it feels like. And so far it's worked. I've had to go through some good reviews. And Brandon Sanderson's an amazing author. His writing style is amazing. It's kind of borderline YA. This could be YA, but he doesn't write it as YA. So that's why I love it so much. So it's a great book. And there's the powers and magic system is easy, but there is a magic system, so it kind of gets someone used to this. And it's a great book. And I just love it so much. Next thing is kind of a classic, obviously. There's going to be Lord of the Rings in this video, but Lord of the Rings, it really shaped me a lot, and it's a great book. It's just kind of underestimated. Oh, this is a blueprint for fantasy, that's why everyone bases it off, but it's not actually good content. But I don't believe that. I believe it's building block. This is a foundation piece. While certainly other fantasy series just expand upon this, I don't think you can get better than the foundation piece, because if you took it out, everything would fall. And I really just it's a great book. It's a classic. If you want to read a classic that's really dense, it's really condensed. It's and there's it's not as action-packed, it's not as appealing on the surface, but once you get into it and you get into this writing style, it's so beautiful, and everything about this shows what fantasy is today. And I'm so happy that I read this, and not just for school. I read it on choice, and I'm really happy that I read that. The next one is the Stormlight Archive. What can I say? This is a big fantasy series. It's so big. This is 1,000 pages, over 1,000 pages, and this is the shortest book in the series. So if you're into this, or if you're gonna like this, you're ready. Better be ready for a big commitment. But it's not like Lord of the Rings in a sense. Lord of the Rings, it's roughly the same size as this one. This one takes you longer to read, honestly, by a long shot. And Lord of the Rings, I feel like it's better for reading over a long course of time. This one is for binge reading. This is it. You're gonna go through this fast if you read it. It's probably gonna take you a long time, but still, for how long it is, it's not gonna feel that long. It's just Mistborn is very appealing, and if you're reading this, you're gonna read it for the characters. The characters of this are amazing. They're some of the best I've ever read. Yeah, it's insane how great the characters are. Because mainly, Kaladin in particular, he has the greatest arc, and he's sad at most times. He's not happy. He doesn't get what he wants a lot of the times. And the magic system's awesome in this world, and it's so big. It's very high fantasy. It's Brandon Sanderson's best work ever, and I'm so happy that this exists. But yeah, read Way of Kings if you really want characters and you really love epic fantasy. These are for epic fantasy lovers, and this is also very wide appealing. So this is what you're gonna want to read if you're what I just described and you want those in a book. This is another big fantasy series. And I think you should consider before you read, because a lot of people DNF the series, and I think that's a shame, because it is a great series. And this is obviously the Wheel of Time, and this is a great series. You can see all my beautiful collection over there. It's big. If you're ready to commit to it, I would say, don't just say, oh, I'm going to pick up the first book. Like, you know, and like just pick it up as I go. Like, first law for me. I picked up the first book and I found time to pick up the second book, found time to pick up the third book. I just like, or some series I just do that. I don't plan it out. I just like, oh, Dune Chronicles, whenever I have time, I'll pick it up, you know? This, I think I enjoyed it so well because I have a schedule for it. Like, a big part of my plan. And I feel like you have to make a schedule for it. Like, I think, at least me, if you're not going to read it all at once, have a time to read it. Because will be easy to DNF. But if you are ready for it, if you think you're ready for that many characters, I think this is the most massive world I've ever seen. Like, of course, J.R. Tolkien can world build on, like, practically nothing, which I feel like is awesome. But, like, if you're ready for that, definitely go ahead and get into the Wheel of Time. And if you're ready for it, like, I think that definitely don't push yourself. Like, to do it now. I feel like a lot of people are, oh, let's start Wheel of Time for the show. I mean, I would read the first book and say, okay, I'm going to read this book at this time, Midgard Hunt. Obviously, it's going to be amazing if you're ready for the big characters. Or not the big characters, like, but the massive, like, there's so many characters. I forgot most of them, to be honest, but I remember, like, 200, 300 is what I remember, but, like, it's a massive world, too. It's not just characters. There's so many races, just like Lord of the Rings. And I feel like this is Lord of the Rings built upon. I feel like this is Lord of the Rings done to a max. I don't feel like it's better. I just feel like it's longer. Like, it has more fleshed out. It's gotten more time to be itself. And, yeah, I love this series. This is my favorite series currently. And it's awesome. Like, I can't have any more praise for it. And last recommendation is The Blade Itself by Mr. Joe Abercrombie. If you're ready for grimdark, I'm not the biggest grimdark reader. And I still love the series. I'm probably not going to read as much grimdark. I don't read many grimdark. Because it's preference. But I did pick up First Law just to check out what it is. You know, like, what is grimdark. And I found out. And I really did enjoy it a lot. Particularly as the last book was my favorite. And The Blade Itself, the First Law, you're going to do it for characters. And you're going to do it for straight up blood and gore. Like, if that's what you want, and if you want a hardcore novel, this is it for you. It's not a crazy magic system, it's just a lot of killing. And if you're ready for that, know there's also amazing characters, and know the grimdark is not the whole thing. There's humor and just the happiness that shines through, which is so weird. But, like, it is a great book, so I would definitely recommend. So that was my video, probably a bit too long, but yeah. So see you guys in the next video.